Cathedral, how to play. The object of the game is to have the fewest points after 2 rounds. Each player takes a set of colored buildings. Lay out the board. The board is called the city and has a wall that runs along the outside edge. The player with the lighter buildings places the gray cathedral anywhere on the board within the grid squares. The player with the darker buildings goes first, then turns alternate. On your turn, you must place any one of your buildings on any vacant spot on the board, lining it up with the grid squares. Then your opponent places a building. Buildings already in play may not be moved. Except for each player's first turn of the game, after you place a building, you are allowed to claim territory. To claim territory, you must have your adjacent buildings touching each other and/or the city wall to create an enclosed area. Diagonal connections do not count. Buildings must be touching at the sides. The cathedral may not be used for creating an enclosed area. If the enclosed space doesn't have any of your opponent's buildings in it, or if it only has a single opponent building in it, or if it only has the cathedral in it, then you remove the opponent's building or cathedral and claim the territory. Your opponent may not place buildings into territories you've claimed. If you forget to remove a building, then it remains where it is and the territory isn't claimed. You are allowed to claim territory if your own buildings are in it, but you do not remove them. You may not claim territory if your opponent has 2 buildings in the enclosed area or one of their buildings with the cathedral. There is no limit to the size of an enclosed area you can claim. Removed buildings from the board return to their owners as supply and may be replaced on future turns if you want. If the cathedral is removed from the board, it may not be replaced. Once one player can no longer place any buildings, the other player places as many of their remaining buildings as they can. Each player then scores 1 point for each square of a building they have left. Clear the board and play another round, this time with the other player placing the cathedral and going second. At the end of the round, each player combines their points from both rounds, and the player with the fewest points wins.